The Hill put up an article titled, Buying a Home, You'll Need a 17K Raise, Zillow Finds. And I want to read it and go over it. In 2020, a household earning the median income could afford a typical U.S. home, but today they'll need a 17,670 raise to do it. According to a new Zillow analysis, to comfortably afford the mortgage on a typical U.S. home, now worth $367,969, you'll need a salary of nearly $100,000, Zillow found, and that assumes you already have $73,594 available for a 20% down payment. So if your household makes the median income 82,168, you'll need a raise of more than 20%, totaling nearly 18,000 to afford a typical mortgage. In 4 California metros, typical earners would need much larger raises, over six figures, to afford a home in the area. In San Jose, a household earning the median income would need a $250,000 raise to afford the typical mortgage, even with $330,000 set aside for a 20% down payment. Six-figure raise would also be necessary in San Francisco, which is 165,566, Los Angeles 149,375, and San Diego 128,954. Affordability remains a steep hill to climb, especially for first-time buyers, Kara and senior economist at Willow said in the statement. And then they break down the 10 cities where you need the biggest raise to afford typical mortgage payment in the area. San Jose, California, San Francisco, California, Los Angeles, San Diego, New York City, Seattle, Boston, Riverside, Miami, and then Sacramento. Today, there are only 11 major markets where the median income is enough to afford the typical mortgage payments, down from 39 such markets 5 years ago, according to Zillow. Those markets are generally clustered in the Midwest and Northeast. Zillow found homebuyers in Cleveland are best off, given that median earners in Ohio City make more than $11,500 over what is needed to afford a typical home. It's similar in nearby Pittsburgh, where median buyers are taking home an extra $11,200. Buyers, excuse me, in St. Louis and Cincinnati aren't far behind. To be considered affordable, a monthly mortgage payment can amount for more than 30% of household income. While the supply of affordable housing still falls well short of demand, this spring's home buying season offered some openings for buyers as inventory rose and more sellers were making concessions. In certain markets, home prices even decline, but it will likely take more than savvy negotiating to solve the affordability crisis in the long run. To make home ownership more broadly accessible, though, we need lasting solutions, starting with policies that will allow more homes to be built in the right places. That lady from earlier said. Um, it's so interesting how a we had this story last year about people feeling like buying a house wasn't like they would rather just rent for the rest of their lives, never buy a home. And honestly, like I've talked about how because of depression and just other stuff that I'm not going to just litigate the video on, I don't see myself, like, let's say, living to be 50 or 60, right? But if you're an individual, because you would think, owning property and things of that nature are things that are associated with, retiring and achieving these, like, higher economic statuses based off of what you own or what you have. But if you're someone who just wants to live comfortably, and maybe dabbles at wanting to eventually own a home, I mean, you're going to have to have over $70,000 available just for the down payment. And it's like we talk about how most Americans can't afford $1,000 emergency. So how the hell and who the hell is going to have that money? I guess you could take a loan out from the bank and then be in debt for the next God knows how many years. But that also assumes that nothing unexpected happens, like something with your health or the damage to your own play. I mean, it is it's a mess, man. It feels like there's such a tiny thin number of ways to actually be financially secure, right? To like ensure that you have somewhere to lay your head at night and to afford food and housing. and and gas. But then there's all like there's such few ways to be financially secure, but there's this unlimited number of ways be to like be screwed out of money over trying to climb the ladder. Oh, go to school and then be in debt for the next 10 or 20 years. Oh, try to buy a house with money that you don't have and take out a loan and be in debt for however many years. I mean, it just never stops. And that's why a lot of people are saying, yeah, this isn't worth it. If I'm gonna buy this house and then barely be able to actually either make anything off of it or afford buying it, why even bother? So it's all just it's really depressing because, like I said, I'm not ignoring whatever personal feelings of disillusion I have about living, to retirement age or anything beyond that. I do feel very sympathetic to people who just, want to work and they want to be able to climb the ladder. And because of how expensive things are, it just like you would say, oh, just save up 70,000. Well, I guess they could do that for 2 or 3 years, but that assumes that they don't have any unexpected emergencies that come up. So it's all just terrible, man.